Alright, so let's resume with question 3 of May June 2025, paper 4-2. This is where we left off. Alright, in this question, we are supposed to use the object-oriented programming part now, and we are given an animal class, and then we just have to implement the functions, the attributes, and the methods. So let's proceed. This is a fairly simple question. There are no source files needed for this part, so we just have to use whatever is given to us in the statement. Okay, so the program stores the data about animals using object-oriented programming. The class animal stores the data about animals. So we have these attributes and then we have these methods. So in the first part, they're saying that you have to write the program code to declare the animal class and its constructor. And this is very important that we do not declare any other methods. Okay, so only do what is instructed in the question. And then if you are using Python, then you have to include attribute declarations using comments. Okay, this is a very straightforward question. So we'll go ahead and we'll make these attributes your name, sound, and size. So it stores the name, so it should be a string. Sound stores the sound that it makes, again a string. And then size is that it will store the integer value, so it would be an integer. So we have in fact 4 attributes, and then intelligence also stores the integer. So we'll do that. So for that we'll write class of animal colon, and then we have these attributes. We have name, sound, size, and intelligence. So define double dash in it, then double dash, and then we have self, which will always be the first parameter. Then we have name, sound, size, intelligence. So n, s, maybe sd, sc, and intl. Okay, we cannot use int because it's a reserved keyword. And then so self dot name would be equal to name to n, then self dot sound will be equal to st, then self dot size will be equal to sz, and then self dot intelligence will be equal to intl. So we have to take care of the case sensitivity here as well, which is extremely important. All right, then in the next part they are saying that we also have to define its constructor. So we've already done that. This is the constructor part, and then we have the attributes already here as well. Okay, then we are supposed to print this and paste this in the evidence file. So we'll consider it done. Then there is a method description which will create and return a string. Okay, so this is what the format of the string would be. So it will include the name, the sound, the size, and the intelligence. So this would be a simple returning method. Technically it's a getter method, but with a difference of returning multiple values in a print statement. So we have define description. Okay, so the animal's name is, I'll just copy this for now and paste it. And we just need a simple format string to actually print this. So it will look something like this. Let's call it a message. So message, or let's call it description, is equal to, so we'll just print it as a format string. We'll format it. So this would be the animal's name is, here we'll have the self dot name, and then it makes this would be a self dot sound, then its size is self dot size, and its intelligence is self dot intelligence, like this. And we simply have to return this. All right, so they've not asked us to print this, so we don't have to print this until we're instructed. All right, then we move to the next part. Okay, so we have the byte class here, which will attribute which will inherit the attributes and override the description method. The additional attributes are given as below. So we have the wingspan and the number of words. These would be specific to the parrot class, and then it will have a constructor. Okay, now the question says write program code to declare the class parrot and the constructor and the method. Okay, so first of all, let's write the class. That will be parrot, and then we'll have the constructor here which will have the wingspan and the number words, and then since it inherits from the animal, so it will also have all the attributes that are similar between them. So class parent will inherit from the animal. So this is how we do inheritance here. And we missed one thing, there should be comments here. So this should be the data type integer. This was string. Then this was also an integer, in fact string. Then this was an integer, and then this was also an integer, right? Okay, then we are doing inheritance here. So once inheritance is done, we have the constructor. Okay, now again, parrot, since parrot is an animal, it will have all the attributes as of the animal. So that will be name, sound, size, and intelligence, and we'll pass them on. And then the new unique features here would be wingspan and number words. All right, so let's write it. So this would be self, so n, then we have the sound, we have the size, and we have the intelligence. And along these two, there would be two new ones, which would be wingspan and number words. So let's call it ws and nwt or something like this. And then, okay, so one option we have is we can just copy paste this again, which is not a good idea because it's just duplication and then it's kind of useless. So instead what we do is we use the super function. So what does it do? It will make a call to the method in parent class. Okay, so in the parent class we have the constructor already there, and it is already initializing these 4 variables. So what we can do is we can just call the super method. So we'll say super dot, and then here we can choose whatever functions we have in the parent class. So in our case, since we're making a call to constructor, so it will be dash dash init dash dash, and then we'll have self, then n, then sound, then size, and then intelligence. This is literally a copied version of this constructor in the parent class. This one, line number 3. All right. Okay, so this will call constructor from parent class. Again, you don't have to write these comments. I'm just doing it for explanation. These are not required in the exam unless they ask you to do so, as they did in the first part that you had to mention the date type. All right. Now the next part is that we have the wingspan and number of words. So these are the new 2 attributes. So we need to initialize them. So that would be self dot wingspan is equal to ws, and then we have self dot, this was called, I think, number words. Yes, number words. This is number words, and then this would be our second attribute. These are both integers, so we have to comment integer next to them again as mentioned in the question, and then this is it. So we have 2 new integers now. Again, these are specific to the parent class. Okay, so after this, they're saying that we have to write the program code to okay, we have done that. Now we have the constructor here as well. Okay, now change number of words. It takes an integer parameter and adds this to the number currently stored in the number of words. Okay, so we simply have to update the value of number of words. So let's say if the number of words are right now maybe 2, so we need to pass in a new parameter, maybe 10, so the new words would become, so if right now there are 2 and pass in 10, so the new size would become, the new number of words would become 12. Okay, so this would be a function. So this would be called change number words. Okay, so change number words, and then this would be a self parameter, and then we need to pass in a parameter by the value we have to update by. So let's call it update baby. Okay, and then what we have to do is the existing value of the number of words would be incremented by this new value. So self dot number words is equal to self dot number words plus update, or we can just write it as plus equal to update. So whatever the value of update would be, it would be incremented to this value like this, right? Okay, once done, so yes, so we're done with this part. So moving on, then we were doing, yes, so this part is another saying that the method description is to be written again, and this time it will be in the parent class, and it will return a string of the animal's data in this format. So the animal's name is this. Okay, this is the same string as the one above. the animal's name is blank and sound and intelligence all the way till here. So what we can do is essentially we can call super here as well. In fact, we should do that because it makes the code reusable. So we have to write the description function. This would be define description. This would be self, and then we'll have the message or the description here. And let's call it the description one. So description one would be literally this format as we already had, right? So what we can do here is we can just make a super call to the description in the parent class like this. And it will actually return the whole thing. The animal's name is self.name, etc. And then in the second part of the description, we can add just this new part, which is it has a wingspan of wingspan and say this many words. So I'll just write that. So this would be it has a wingspan of self dot wingspan and number of words, self dot number of words. And then in the end, we'll just concatenate these two and we'll return them like this. So here we are joining two strings, and to do that, we just use a plus sign in Python. Either you can do it this way, or you could have just copied the code above or pasted it here. That is also fine. You do not lose or gain any extra marks for doing it this way. Now there's a part C. So they're saying there's another class now. So we should actually collapse this code because we don't need it right now. Okay, so we have a wolf class that inherits from the animal, and it will override the description method. And then, so overriding again, it means that this function would be called from the child class and it would not be called from the parent class. So we have the territory size here and everything else remains the same. So in fact, we can just go ahead and we'll just copy the constructor from the parent class. This would be class wolf, and then it will again inherit from animal, and then there is no sound and all of those, so it only has territory size. So let's call it territory size, maybe TTS, something like this, and then it would be replaced by territory size is equal to TTS like this. And then we have to make a comment. It should be an integer, I believe. Yes, area where nearest to the square mile. Okay, so that's the idea here. So it should be an integer because they're saying nearest to the square mile. Okay, now we have to define the constructor. So again, till this point, we are just making the call to the parent one, and this is the only new attribute here. So we add that as it is. Okay, once this is done, now the next part is that we have to, so we have to set the territory size here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And then after that, we have to just write the description method. Okay, what else? Set territory size. Yes, it will take an integer parameter and add it to the current one. Okay, it's the same as the previous one. So we just have to write set define set territory size. Again, you have to be very specific about the spellings, and then let's call it update as well. And then this would be simply be territory size plus equal to update like this. So this is also done. And now in the second part, again, this is a repetition of the description. So I'll just copy the code from above. This would be the description method. So till this point, it's the same. I'll just copy the whole thing. And then it would be, it has a territory size. Size is 8, intelligence 7. Its territory size is this many miles. Okay. So it has a territory size of self dot territory size of this many square miles like this. And then we join these two strings and that's it. And then yeah, that's the whole idea for the description method here. Then in part D1, they're saying that now we have to create some objects. So the main program declares instances of classes for 3 animals. We have a parrot, wolf, and an animal. Okay, so we have to create a main function now, and in that we'll be creating the instances of these classes that we just made, and we'll be essentially testing the code. So this will be the main function, main area, and we have the parrot and wolf and animal. So let's call it A1 is equal to parrot Then we have A2, which is equal to wolf, and then we have A3, which is equal to animal. All right, now we have to input these strings. So we have QA, squawk, 1, 10, 30, and 29, and they must be in the same order. Okay, so when you write parrot here and you put brackets, so it will automatically show you the order of the values. So this order must be followed. So we'll start from the name, then we have the sound, size, etc. So even if the question tells them out of order, you're supposed to write them in order, otherwise it will not work correctly. So I'll write the values. This would be QA, and we have squawk, I believe. Then the next value was 1, 10, 30, and 29. Okay, so this time it's in order, but it's not necessary that it's always in order. 29. Then we have wolf. So for that we have night eyes, howl, 8, intelligence, 7. Okay, so we have night eyes, we have howl, we have 8, 7, 100. So 8, 7, 100. And then PyCharm is automatically giving them labels as well. And finally we have the animal. So animal is copper, horse, neigh sound. Okay, so we have copper, going to make a neigh sound, and it will be 10 and 10, I believe. I think it was 9. Okay, it's 6 actually. 6, like this. All right, everything is done. Now they are saying that we need to, the main program also needs to decrease the territory for the wolf night by 20. And so we have to call these functions now. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So decrease the territory of the for the wolf night by 20 square miles. Okay, since we are adding the value in this set territory size, so we need to send in the negative value. So it is negated here, otherwise it will actually end up adding it. So wolf is the A2 here. So we'll say A2 dot set, in fact it was A2 set, A2 is wolf, yes. A2 dot set territory size, like this. And then they're saying that we need to change it by 20. So it should be minus 20 here, like this. Okay, because again we are adding the value here, so we need to negate it, because they're saying that we need to decrease the keyword here. Then increase the number of words for the parrot by 2. So parrot is A1. So A1 dot change number of words, and then this should be 2, like this. And then in the last part, they're saying output the description for all 3 animals. I'm hoping this would be correct. Okay, so we are just returning the values in the description function. So if we just call the description like this, it will not print anything, because it's returning a value to the function but not actually outputting it on the screen. So we have to wrap this in print statements like this, and then we have 2, and then we have 3. Okay, so let's try the code. Okay, so it says the animal's name is this, intelligence is this, and okay, so I missed a full stop here, and then we have the animal name, etc. Okay, everything is working perfectly. Then they're saying we have to test the program and we have to take a screenshot. So we have to open the snipping tool for this, as you'll do it in the exam, or you can use the window screenshot button, and then you'll extend the whole window and you'll take the whole output and paste it in the evidence file. This is how it would look like. Again, it has some part cropped, so you need to find the whole output here to show it on the evidence file. Right, so with this, question 3 of menu 25 is also done.